Mailbag time again. Some big boxes here. I don't think this one's the right size box for the thing I purchased, but anyway, get stuck into it, find out what's going on. A couple of different ones. Right, so we've got some adapters. What prompted me for this was this camera I'm using right now. It's a HDMI to HDMI mini right angle connector. So I thought I'd just try some different connectors with this camera to see if I can get these cables to stop getting damaged. I mean, I keep having problems with it failing. Maybe it's because of the angle it's coming outside of the camera, I'm not quite sure, but got a couple of different ones. And this one is also HDMI to HDMI mini. And the idea is that this one can go on the side of the camera and face downwards like that. Now this one will go to the back of the camera, which isn't ideal. Or this one will go downwards, which I think is the one I probably want to use. And it means the cable's then hanging straight down. Normally right now it's coming out the side and looping around. If I do this one, it'll be going straight down, which should take stress off things, hopefully. Maybe a complete waste of time. Maybe it won't help at all. But I've got some. We'll see what this thing. On the same vein, HDMI through to an HDMI mini as well. So this is also came along the same principle, this one, right? Having a right angle connector which hangs down. This takes all the flex and the camera moving around. Hopefully it manages it okay, and then I can put the HDMI cable onto this one instead, using a standard HDMI instead of one of these adapter cables. Because the standard HDMI cables are much cheaper than the adapter cables, so I thought if I get this one, maybe this will do the job and I'll just replace the HDMI cables if they go bad. I don't know. Anyway, options. You don't really care about that, but it matters to me. These look suspiciously like LED strips. They are. Look how narrow they are. What I was thinking about with this is for replacing backlights on screens. Now I did a screen repair recently. The backlight's completely dead on it. It's for a UPS. I did it on my live stream, and I was basically trying to solder some LEDs onto the side of it and things like that, and position them correctly so it will sit nicely. I'm thinking, well, if I've got some LED strip like this, you could literally just shove this down the side of it, stick it on with a bit of tape around the outside, and that would work. It'd do exactly the same thing. I'm not sure what voltages these ones are. This one says 5 volt. This one doesn't say anything. Maybe they're different colours, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, this one's different. Clear and, I don't know, maybe they're different colours. I don't know. Anyway, this one says 5 volt, the other one doesn't. I might have to check, see what these actually are. So the backlight I fixed had a 5 volt supply to the board, and what I could have done is just tacked onto that and then use these down the side of the display, which is sort of that sort of size. Just shone them straight in the edge on the backlight, and that would have actually worked. So I got some of these because I thought that could be useful for those kinds of tasks. And as usual, I get way more than I need. Not sure what's in this one. Oh, you're going to say most of these things. Ah, right. Okay. Now I know what's in it. It's from FINIRSI. I've been talking to FINIRSI about a couple of things, and they decided to send me this tester to do a review on. So I'll be doing a review on this tester. And based on my mailbag schedule, I've got loads of mailbags out there right now. I've got months worth sitting there waiting for me to get around to them, so I'm not quite sure when I'm going to do this review. I'll be linking it down below in this mailbag anyway. I'll link it down there. Have a quick look at it. There it is. It's got power, built-in battery, component tester. It's called the LCRP1. Little zip socket on it. It's nice enough. Infrared decoding as well. And that switch there. Also got Zener diode tester. Got Zener there. I'm quite sure I'll do that one. I have to read the manual maybe. 300 milliamp hour battery built in. It takes a 5 volt supply up there too. And there's a package in there. It's probably got a cable and stuff in the back there. Cool. I'll do a review on that pretty soon. Maybe I'll record it next week. Not quite sure which sequence I'll be releasing these videos in, so yeah, I may have to bump this video up the chain to get this seen sooner. I don't know, I'll have to see. I've got other stuff kind of in the queue as well, so I don't know. Big box, and it's got this reinforced tape, so I'm going to be using a real knife this time. This is a part for my motorhome. So the door lock on my motorhome has been playing up a bit, and I'm hoping this is absolutely the correct one because it's quite involved taking it all apart. So it's basically the latch, right, which has got on the, it's got what's called a swing door on the side. It's like a door which sits parallel, and you open it, it sort of swings out and comes around like this. And one of them I was having trouble with, it wasn't wanting to lock properly. I thought, right, I'll get a new one. It wasn't cheap. Basically my alarm system, which I built for the bus as well, it hooks up to the switch and so it knows when it's latched, and it just wouldn't latch. It just wouldn't actually lock properly. Slamming it and all sorts of stuff, and I even adjusted the loop which is on the frame, which locks into this mechanism. I even adjusted that, and that didn't help. And it's sort of come right again now, but I had trouble with it. I did kind of sort it out, but I'm not happy with it. The fact it played up in the first place means I couldn't actually lock the door, and of course the door wasn't giving a signal to say it's latched. Also inhibits the accelerator use, so you can't actually drive without that being latched fully. It looks at that as well. If this isn't made, then you have problems. I thought, well, I'll just get a whole new one to replace it, and that's what this is. Alright, so this is the release mechanism. So you pull the door and it pulls that, and that then releases the latch. So let me just show you this. People which aren't familiar with the automotive stuff. Let's get a screwdriver, show this in here, and we'll latch it. Right, so that's latched. Okay, so when the door's shut, it's in this position. When you pull the door, it pops open. Simple as that. So yes, another project to do. I don't know if I'll do a video on it. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Right, that's what it is. Okay. You think about buying one of these for a while, or something like it at least. It's a filament dryer. That's what the front looks like. Didn't research it all. I saw it there. I thought, actually, yeah, I think I will get one. Power cable. A couple of PTFE tubes. Because this is a dual unit, so you can hold 2 spools on this one. You can also get a single version as well. So a figure 8 cable, power switch on the back. I hate power switches on the back. Why do they always have to be on the back? Put them on the front. So the cover opens. You sit the spools in there. It's got some little bearings in there. We'll sit on those. Nice. Come out the top through these. There you go. So here's the handle. So there's these little plugs which you can push in to seal it better. Which I think is kind of pointless in a way because it's a nice gimmick. Unless they're going to air seal all the way around this as well. It seems like it's a decent close fit, but there's no rubber seal on it. So it's not actually got a seal around the edges and the outside, so they're not going to be airtight, are they? So this little bit here ain't going to make much difference. Nice gimmick. Anyway, that's alright. It wasn't very expensive either. I think it's a Peltier device. Okay, power's on. Let's get closer. Has a touch screen down here, so let's touch it. This is that capacitive on top of an LCD. So PLA, TPU, PP, ABS, ASA, PETG. So you can see that the recommended temperature of H1 for drying. There's not much in it though, is there? So CF is carbon fibre. Let's go material, time. Oh, there we go. Now the fan's running. Let's just do it with nothing in it and see what happens. So that is obviously for 1 hour. So it's got a temperature readout, humidity readout. Might leave it running for a little bit. That's currently drawing out 200 watts. Power factor of 1. Really good power factor. That's surprising. Power's coming down. It's now 183 watts. I believe it's a Peltier system, so is there like a difference in temperature is what affects it? I'll come back in a couple of minutes once it's warmed up. Actually, I think I'll put this in there. Right, this is the current temperature in this room and the humidity in this room. And this has now just come down to the ambient humidity. So I'm going to put this inside and see what happens. It shouldn't melt. I've been on for a little while now. What's that? About 6 minutes or so. 5 minutes in there. Don't have a display. This is a bit janky. But 25 relative humidity, so the humidity came down inside there, or the temperature's going up. Doesn't quite match this, but it will get there eventually, I imagine. It's definitely warm, so it'll definitely do the job. The thing with plastics, right, my experience in plastics is a bit more than just 3D printing. When it comes to plastic drying, perfectly correct, you definitely want to dry them, you want to get the humidity out of them, get as much moisture out as you can before you use it, because you do get better results. The moisture affects the polymerization of material. So what you need to do is try and keep the material dry as long as you can before it goes through that printer and before it's actually printed, because even a couple of hours outside of a dryer can cause that material to start becoming too moist. Depends on the material, some are faster or more sensitive to moisture than others. But you kind of need to make sure that if you can keep that material dry right to the time it prints. In my experience of plastics, that anything more than 3 hours in the plastics I tend to use, the moisture is the problem again. It's basically wet again after 3 hours. So if you've got a spool in here and you're printing something and it takes a couple of hours to get from here to the printer, by the time it prints it's basically wet again. And especially with this small diameter filament, it's quite likely that it's basically wet by the time it gets to the printer. So you have to keep everything as short as you can, which is why we've got these little Teflon tubes to help keep filament away from the ambient air, because if this is going to be pushing air out, and that will basically push it through the gaps in the tube and help to keep it dry that way. Because you could do all this, dry it, put it on the printer. If you take out this box and put it on the printer and fit it on, if you're doing like a 1 hour print, you're probably okay. But if you're doing a couple of hours or a few hours, you're likely to be coming to problems again. It may still be better than not drying it. It may be you can get away with it most of the time, and it may not be that big a deal. It depends on the material you're using and how much humidity there is in the air around you as well. If it is relatively dry, you might be okay. You can probably get away with it a longer time. I'm going to power it down. And yeah, that's right. So use a couple of 100 watts at peak, which is okay. I have to figure out exactly how I'm going to use this. I might just dry my filaments before I print with them and decide on how critical it is for the print time and quality of the product. I mean, up until now I haven't been drying my filaments, and I know that they're giving me trouble because of that, which is why I decided to get one of these, because having a dryer will make a difference. 4 hours or so would be a decent drying time. The idea is you also put some of those absorbent packs in here as well, silica gel packs. Put some of those in there too, and that way those also help to suck the moisture out the air as well at the same time, so you can do both things at once and you get a much better outcome from it rather than just warm air. I mean, warm air will definitely help, but using silica gel will also help too. But yeah, I think I'll probably just do something like that and just play it by ear and see what we actually get. Any kind of drying's better than no drying whatsoever, and ideally you want it straight from the dryer. But yeah, anyway, links down below for other videos. Check out the review on this when I do it. I've got to figure out how and when, but I'll be doing it. Subscribe over here if you're not subscribed. Bet you want to see this or something else, I don't know. Catch you later.